Hey guys, I'm Nan here. This can be my chapter review to Nanatsu no Taizai 257, or the 7 Deadly Sins 257, the March to Attack. Now before I start this, I really want to convey a message to you guys and say that if you want to know what I'm doing in terms of if I'm releasing a video, if I'm releasing a review on a certain day, follow my Twitter. It should be on all my videos in the little information box, the little description. But yeah, follow my Twitter because, like, for instance, this week I was incredibly busy. I was up in Scotland and shit like that, which is why I haven't done the Nanatsu no Taizai review until now. But if any of you were waiting on that and were really just getting annoyed that I hadn't done anything, that's the reason why. And I'll obviously be more active on my Twitter if you guys follow that. So yeah, just follow me up on Twitter, and I'll endeavour to be more active on Twitter and let you guys know. So yeah, just that. But going into the review, this was not really what I was expecting to happen this chapter. I was like, yo, damn, like, I was actually really impressed. I was quite confused as well, like, what are they going to do now? So, like, we start this chapter with Arthur in his dying moments, essentially, and his regret at not having met Merlin's expectations of him. And we meet Merlin's sadness and panic, Elizabeth's panic. We see Merlin's shock once they realize that Arthur is in fact dead. The cover page then shows Merlin having recognized, raised and pushed Arthur into lifting Excalibur, into pulling Excalibur out of the rock it was stuck in. And you can't help but feel sorry for Merlin. You're just like, yo, you know what, after all that raising, all the effort she put into Arthur, and all her hopes and dreams were basically within Arthur. That's what Arthur embodied, and he's dead. And you're just like, well, damn. So now I'm just wondering where things are gonna go. So, like I said, the obvious question here is Arthur gone for good? Somehow, I don't think so, and I think a lot of you guys agree with me. Just from reading around, a lot of you guys are saying the same thing. We don't think that Arthur's gone. And I think essentially what's going to happen is he might meet with the kings and warriors of old within Excalibur, because a few of them wouldn't have been kings. You know, the first few guys, I don't think they were kings. I think the first guy was a king, actually. But yeah, actually, were all of them kings, or were the first few warriors? I think the first few might have just been warriors. I don't know, but that doesn't matter. They're all kingly, essentially. So I think he's going to meet them within Excalibur and receive some, like, deluxe training. He may even unlock his magical potential whilst within Excalibur, and maybe this will result in, like, some crazy resurrection or some shit. And all in all, I don't think he's gone for good. I think he's coming back. Arthur's definitely got to come back. That's my opinion on this. Let me know what you guys think of that. But next, Elizabeth and Merlin and then Escanor are invited to the War Council, planning the final preparations for their battle strategy against the demons. And at this point, we see Kath, who is pissed as fuck. Like, legit, like, this is the most pissed we've ever seen a character in anything. Kath is pissed, nightmare material. I was like, yeah, what the hell is with Kath? So then the whole point of this is, what the conversation it brings up is, what is Kath gonna do? More importantly, what can Kath do? And will she, he, it, I'm not sure what it is in terms of gender. But will it just seethe in its own rage, or will it actually kill some demons and transform into some legendary beast, like the Kath Palug of myth that I discussed in one of my previous reviews, which is what Kath is supposed to be based on, the demonic or the monstrous cat that in some stories killed King Arthur, in some stories didn't. But I think that's what might happen, you know, if Kath consumes enough demons or some shit, or maybe it's Kath is more directly related to Arthur's magical potential, which is why it wanted Arthur to unlock his magical potential, in the sense that when Arthur unlocks his magical potentials, Kath's, like, final form will be revealed, and it'll turn into, like, some monstrous cat demon or some shit, and it'll start kicking ass like freaking Thundercats. Or is it He-Man? I think it's Thundercats, you know, and freaking you have that huge ass cat. So I think something like that might actually go down. We then see Merlin mourning Arthur's death. She talks of his potential and his character as a person, asking his corpse about the promise he'd made when they'd met, or during the time that she'd raised him, and he'd promised her that he would show her a world she'd never known before. And I'm not sure exactly what that's going to be like, but obviously that's something she wanted to see. She then questions the whereabouts of his soul, almost as if Nakaba wants us to kind of kind of infer that Arthur's soul may actually be within Excalibur right now, and I think this adds further, just a little bit more credibility and viability to the whole Arthur trains his soul within Excalibur kind of thing with the kings of old. So we then get to the saddest part of the chapter, which was even sadder than the whole Arthur dying thing. We get to see Escanor rejected without even asking Merlin like a question or whether she'd go to prom with him or some shit. He stands outside her door, mulling over what to say to her in her time of grief and in this time of mourning. And all he hears beyond the door is Elizabeth saying to Merlin that Arthur was someone irreplaceable to you, wasn't he? Just as Meliodas is to me. And he just stood there like, and you could just see him deflating. I mean, like, the guy's jacked, but in that moment he was stick thin, and you're just like, yo, this is like, I was crying my eyes out for Escanor here. And upon hearing this, Escanor just walks away, nothing left to say. You know, he just walks out, and I was like, I don't know. And the weird thing though, and the conversation this brings up, is the whole, what are they to each other in terms of Merlin and Arthur? And in this chapter, Nakaba again confirms that Merlin and Arthur's relationship and love is purely of a master and a student. He does actually say that in a Q&A in this chapter. But I don't know if I agree with the guy, you know. With Merlin being engulfed by darkness and evil, it seems kind of like, well, now that Arthur's dead, she's engulfed by darkness and evil. So it seems like Arthur, like I mentioned before, kind of encompassed all of her hopes and dreams, and had like really garnered so much of her attention and attachment that she'd grown to love him beyond that, beyond the realms of like a master and a student. But this is Nakaba's story, so I'm just going to agree with him, and he says that their love is more of a student-master thing. But who knows, maybe it did evolve beyond that, and even though they are master and student, there's nothing to really say that their love isn't actually anything beyond that. But you know, just go with what Nakaba says for now. Elizabeth then uses the goddess's ability to kind of influence / brainwash individuals, and she kind of alleviates Merlin of her grief, not entirely but just a little bit, making her feel slightly better, something she used to do in the past apparently, motivating Merlin to start kicking some ass again. So she sheds her first tears tear in centuries, and pledges to free Elizabeth from her curse and then stop Meliodas from becoming the Demon King. And we then go to the War Council, which consists of Rudusiel, Sariel, Tarmiel, Elizabeth as the goddesses. We have Merlin.
Hi there. I'm Cortana, and I'm here to help.
Damn. We then go to the War Council, which consists of Rudusiel, Sariel, Tarmiel, Elizabeth as the goddesses. We see Merlin, Escanor as the representatives of the Sins. We see Dreyfus, Hauser, and Griamore, the best warriors of their respective nations, essentially, and obviously them being the leading the humans. And the plan is to divide the army up into 3 forces. Dreyfus and Griamore will be defending Lyonesse. We have Hauser, Tarmiel, and Sariel will command the search and destroy teams, taking out the demon armies. And we have Escanor, Rudusiel, and Merlin, who will form the assault squad directly attacking Camelot. And actually, just to go back, Elizabeth and the Sins are going to be joining Hauser, Tarmiel, and Sariel in attacking just the demon armies in their search and destroy effort. Rudusiel then tries to make fun of Elizabeth and her whole situation with Meliodas, but Tariel and Sarmiel are like, bruh, just stop mocking her. And I was like, yo, this is actually quite nice to see. The other 2 Archangels actually have a will beyond Rudusiel. And then that kind of triggered the memory of, I think we saw them do this kind of same thing in their flashback, in a flashback in the mini arc with Diane and King, when they took over the bodies of Gloxinia and Dolo. And I think Tarmiel and Sariel just in general are more respectful, and they seem to appreciate Elizabeth more than Rudusiel, and Rudusiel seems to just be an asshat, to be fair. So Gilthunder and Hendrickson, we then find out, are going to follow Rudusiel. Rudusiel requested Hendrickson be his personal bodyguard because Hendrickson requested he wanted to be Rudusiel's bodyguard for some strange reason. He's a crazy ass bitch, basically. So Hendrickson the Fool will be Rudusiel's bodyguard, and Gilthunder is going to protect Margaret's body, essentially, which is all good. You know, that's fun times. And then the chapter ends with the war beginning. It's actually begun now. Cusack and Chandler assume their more demonic forms. We've already seen Chandler in his more demonic form. You know, he's all beefed up, his hair, I think, does it whiten out or does it black? I think it blacks out. And he just looks crazy. His demonic mark spread, but we see Cusack with his hair whitens out instead of blackens out, and his demonic mark kind of spreads down his arms, and his arms are just long as shit, and he's got his daggers, and he's gotten a little bit bigger as well. So he looks cool as fuck, and I'm just like, yo, okay, this is cool. We've also been told that the fairies and the giants have sent their respective armies to aid Stigma, so this is gonna be hype. It's gonna be Holy War 2.0 big time. The deciding factors now will be: will the goddesses betray the sins in order to regain Miles' grace, or just because they're a bit crooked? They may very well do that. And then, will Bon return and inject Meliodas with his lost emotions or something? That would really send the demon clan into a whirlwind of shit and a shitstorm, and they'd be in a really bad place if that did happen. We then have Estarossa or Zeldris. Will they succeed in using the commandments for themselves, especially Estarossa, because Zeldris seems to be a little bit more loyal to the cause than Estarossa. Estarossa is just a crazy ass guy who just goes around killing his own commandments and stuff, killing his own. He's been trapped with these guys in the coffin of darkness, or whatever it's called, coffin of eternal darkness, for 3,000 years, and my man just goes and straight up kills Gadon and stuff, and you're just bruh, this guy is crazy. So Estarossa, there's a chance he might just jack all the commandments and become Demon King himself. So we then have the whole will Esther, what was the next one? Will Arthur be revived through the unlocking of his magical abilities via Excalibur or some next shit? So that would provide a good central kind of point for everyone to unite against the demon clan, and it would fulfill Arthur's role as kind of King Arthur. So yeah, I really enjoyed this chapter, and I'm looking forward to what's going to come next. I'm hoping Arthur hasn't been killed off here, because like I said before, even though I thought whatever I did of the last 2 chapters, I still like Arthur, and I didn't want him to die. So I'm hoping he comes back stronger and fitter than ever. So yeah, those were my thoughts for the chapter. Let me know what you guys thought. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me on Twitter. I'm gonna have to do some major editing on this video, because some Cortana suddenly started speaking in the middle of this video. I don't know why. So yeah, I'll do that, and I'll release this as soon as I can. So I'll see you guys tomorrow when I release my One Piece review. So I'll see you guys then.